Well, hi there. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the third set of practice problems related to factor markets. And I'll say that it's not monopsony. Monopsony, which is the topic that we just learned, monopsony, you only have to interpret. And so you'll almost never see monopsonies. You'll almost never see monopsonies probably in a free response unless they're giving you the picture, in which case then you kind of have to interpret what's going on there. But you won't have to actually draw monopsonies, which is kind of nice. That's one less thing on your plate. So this is going to be another example of you drawing a perfectly competitive factor market. You will be expected to know how to do that. So the first part says raise stable hires work in a perfectly competitive factor market for unskilled labor. Using the side-by-side graphs for the market and the firm, show the wage and the quantity that gets hired in the market, and then show the wage and the quantity that gets hired by the firm. So this is very similar to the last practice problem that we just did that was a company hiring machines, but in this one, they're hiring workers. So we're going to come down, have our quantity, and because it's workers, we're going to use W for wage. So demand and then supply, and then we have a dashed line over and then dashed line down, and it says equilibrium wage and quantity was WE and QE. Let's go ahead and put market. So WE, QE, and then it says the wage paid by the stable and the quantity for the firm is WR and QR. WR, and that's going straight across. Whoa, that's not quite straight. Having trouble with that lately. Go. Nice straight line, should be straight. And I put MFC right there as well so that my grader knows that I'm aware that this is the same kind of value. MRP, and then come down from there, and it said to do it as QR. So this is the firm. Okay, and so we finished part A of this problem, again, with my little bit of sloppy wage that's actually paid in that market. B, is the marginal factor cost of labor for raised stable equal to, greater than, or less than? Explain. It's equal to, right? It has to be equal. And we'd say because the firm is a wage taker. It was a wage taker, all right? You can also say because the firm is in perfectly competitive factor market. So having kind of either one of those explanations would suffice here, because we're really saying that this firm has to take its wage from the market because it's in a perfectly competitive factor market. Part C. So C says, now assume the government imposes an effective minimum wage on unskilled labor, and show that and label it as W-min, and show the quantity of unskilled labor supplied in the market as QS, and then it asks you a question about raised stable. So we know that the W-min is going to go actually all the way across. So we'll put W-min, right? We're kind of connecting it all the way across. And it wants us to find the quantity supplied. Well, that's just where the supply curve intercepts. That is not the number of transactions, right? That's going to be a fewer quantity, but that's not what they ask for. Then it says, as a result of the new minimum wage, will the marginal revenue product of the last worker hired by raised stable increase, decrease, or stay the same? So we're going to go from hiring this worker, QR, to this worker. Right, so the firm's going to back off of their hiring a little bit because of that higher MFC that they're facing. And so that means actually the last worker's MRP is going to be a little bit higher because we're moving up that MRP. So we would say C, actually we did C1 and C2, so C3 is greater than before. And let's see, did they ask us for an explanation? They did not. And again, the explanation would just be literally like you've moved back up that line. And so the MRP is a larger value. All right, well, hopefully this helped you going through factor markets. I'll see you next time.